Hi, I'm Wayward, and this is Grey Goo. Looking at a 1 versus 1 right now. I believe this is from the recent Taste of Goo tournament. In the top right, as the blue goo, is Eggbot. Used to be Refbot, but now is going by Eggbot, so I'm going to honor that. And at the bottom left, as the blue beta, is Mixu. So this match is taking place on Polar Field, which is a new map actually created by someone in the community, Awesome Socks 42. He's our preeminent map maker, and it's running the quick script mod. How that works, if you're not familiar, is when with any faction, when you purchase your first refinery, or with the goo, when you get that first burst of resources with your mother, it automatically refunds you some resources. In the case of the goo, it automatically spawns an additional mother goo. This really speeds up the early game, taking out the very protracted early game that often happens in Grey Goo. It's the most popular way to play the game anymore, and it's created by our very own XCet, who's basically single-handedly keeping the Grey Goo community alive. So the community really owes him a lot. Now, Polar Field, nice big map, pretty interesting little details on it. And lots of strategic possibility. I don't know that Eggbot has yet scouted out where Mixu is. Mixu taking the pretty standard beta approach and getting out that early Stratus to scout with. Looks like he is... Oh, those are commandos. I thought he was long distance harvesting, but he's not. Stratus getting out there and trying to figure out where the goo are. Interesting from Eggbot here, he is out with a couple of drovers. Not too often that you see that this early. Getting some early scouting, but I don't know that that's worth it, honestly. Both players are going to find each other. There is a scout of those Proteans. Typically with the goo, what I like to see is 4 or 5 mothers before you start producing an army. Otherwise, you really can't sustain the production. Mixu keeping that hangar. Oftentimes, you'll see the hangar sold off after that first Stratus is produced. These drovers are not going to be able to do any economic damage. They just don't have the damage output for it. Possibly going to take this extractor down, but I don't know. Have some harassment of... Mixu has some harassment as well on Eggbot. This actually is dealing economic damage as well as actual damage because the hit points of the mother goo are how resources are stored for the goo. So this is a problem. Eggbot being really aggressive. There's not a lot here for Mixu to defend with, although we do have some wall segments. Trying to take down this small hub, I thought. Oh yeah, the medium hub, I'm sorry. That is actually going to go down, depowering these buildings. That's quite clever by Eggbot. This is looking pretty bad for Mixu, honestly. Although I don't think we have a lot more Proteans coming out at the moment. Just these 7 Striders right now. Striders will not... Oh, there's a Protean there. Well, I guess they count as structures. They do. We do have 4 small Proteans, but they're all the way across the map, most of them at this point. Striders actually taking down the last... No. Ignoring the commandos. There's the sell-off with her factory replacement. I think that's a good idea. That's going to allow Mixu to hold off a little better. Small Protean being used to attack these buildings. If he's not careful, he will lose it. There we go. It turns into drovers to counteract those commandos. Let's see. Units tab. We have a lot of Striders now. Some were morphed on the way in. this is really bad for Mixu, but I'm not really sure how Eggbot's going to seal the deal. Maybe one of these mothers should come down and participate. Oh, looks like Mixu actually floating a ton of resources, which is a big problem for him. Honestly, he could probably just build like somewhere else and kind of keep going. His resources are not the problem here. It's the lack of ability to produce them, to produce units. Spend them, I guess, to spend the resources. Wow. Eggbot really crushing Mixu right here with this aggressive Strider play. A ton more Striders and small Protean up here. Ooh, Mixu lost a refinery. That is a big hit. I think he's only got the one now. Yeah, just one. Small hub gonna shut down that refinery also. The loss of that small hub. Wow. This is some really nice, aggressive goo play. I honestly didn't think this few Striders could make that work, but Mixu got a little too greedy, I guess, and now is paying the price for that. I don't know. He just can't keep any units alive. I guess if he was aggressive with the wall segments, maybe he could defend that. He could have defended this earlier, but I don't think Mixu really understood the danger he was in. I certainly didn't until it was too late, and I was just watching. It seemed like Mixu was okay. He was losing non-essential stuff for a while. Yeah, I guess he just got a little too greedy. And when Eggbot saw the opening, he just went for it. Wow, short little match, but I think pretty fun overall. I'm Waybird, and this has been Grey Goo.